Alright guys, so it's time for another Habs news update, and in this video we're going to take a look at the recent signing of fan favorite Cole Caufield, when we should expect to see him and Eric Staal in the lineup for the Habs and the Rocket. We're going to give a Habs COVID-19 update, talk about some Tyler Toffoli speculation, and have an updated look at the upcoming schedule because things have officially changed. Okay, so as per Eric Ingles, the Habs were all tested again this morning, which is of course the 29th, and if these tests all come back good, then the Habs will have their first practice in a week, which is expected to go ahead around 6 p.m. if all is well. And I mean, you gotta think that things are good now, so keep faith guys, keep faith, cause we all miss watching Habs hockey. Now, the Habs schedule was impacted by this whole fiasco, and the gentleman of a poster on the Habs subreddit by the name of TBZad709 posted this updated schedule information and done a great job outlining the changes. The first game that the Habs missed due to COVID-19 complications was a March 22nd battle against the Edmonton Oilers, and that game has now been rescheduled for Tuesday, March 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern, which is tomorrow. And I'll be doing a game preview for this one, so make sure you come back and check it out. I'm going to leave this schedule information here on the screen for a little bit, so you guys can kind of have a little look and try and make sense of what's going on here. One thing to note here is that the Habs' remaining schedule was already cramped before this shit even happened. So now with the added games, it's about to get even more cramped. So let's hope the Habs manage to put up some points here down the stretch and separate themselves from the Flames and the Canucks, who are still actively trying to claw themselves into a playoff position. In other news, the Habs have acquired Eric Staal during their week off, which I talked about in a previous video, and of course many fans cannot wait to see Staal make his Habs debut, but let's keep in mind Staal has to isolate for a week upon his arrival to Canada, so he may not actually be able to get involved in a practice until later this week, and according to Tony Marinaro, he will not be available for the Habs until Monday, April 5th. And I just want to add that with this extremely busy schedule now down the stretch, it makes bringing a guy like Staal in extra important, because they are going to need as many bodies as they can, as we could potentially see some kind of rotation of forwards down the stretch. Because that's a lot of games to play for the remainder of the season in so little time. Now, speaking of isolation, a guy who likes to go by the name of Cole Caufield has been also signed recently, bringing smiles to the faces of Hab fans all over the world. I'm going to list Caufield's contract details right here, and he will also be required to isolate upon arriving to Canada. Again, according to Tony Marinaro, Caufield will not be available for the Rocket until Tuesday, April the 6th, and this is exactly when all of our eyes will be glued to the Laval games. Now, a couple of thoughts here on Caufield. I was already prepared for Caufield to start in Laval, but you know, some fans were really hoping that somehow he would start his journey with the Habs right now. But don't get too discouraged by this, guys, as this is probably what's best for him right now anyway. If he goes down there and seems to adjust quickly and adapts to the higher level of play, and you know, starts turning heads, who knows? Maybe he gets to play some NHL games before the regular season is over, or maybe even during the playoffs. Let's face it, we are all eager beavers right now, waiting to see how this guy plays. It's just killing us, right? But another thing to watch out for here, the AHL still has its fair share of goons, guys. Believe it or not. I mean, the NHL teams rarely use them anymore, so it's almost like they just keep them down there in the AHL until they feel like they need some grit up in the big leagues, right? So I really hope Caufield is protected down there. He's a small guy. I'm sure he's used to getting knocked around and being the center of attention in college hockey. And let's keep in mind that Laval themselves have their fair share of guys that other teams consider goons. So they're definitely going to have to keep their heads on a swivel and play a vital role in protecting this kid. You know, keep other teams in line. Because if anybody touches Caufield, I'm going to walk to Quebec myself personally and hit somebody over the head with a shovel when they return to play Laval. Now, another guy to look out for during today's practice is Tyler Toffoli. Because the only positive sign in the world from this COVID-19 postponement for the Habs was that Tyler Toffoli, who was dealing with a minor lower body injury, had some time to rest, and put himself back together. So let's hope he's 100% and we see him at today's practice, because Dominique Ducharme said during the beginning of last week that Toffoli was about a week away from returning. And here we are, 7 days later, wondering if he's all healed up. So let's hope he is, and things are going well for our top goal scorer. Alright guys, that does it for today's Habs news updates. If you guys like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel, as I upload hockey content daily and always enjoy seeing new viewers on the channel. So anyway guys, let's hope the Habs hit the ice at 6, and don't forget to check back tomorrow for my game preview between the Habs and the Oilers.